Tiffany Ashton with ClinEssentials, and I am here with another video, and today's topic is subject recruitment. So you may or may not be aware, but depending on how complex a study is, it could cost the sponsor 500,000 or even more. Some studies may cost $1 million to run every month. Did you know that? Were you aware? Is that surprising to you? Now, you may ask, what goes into that cost? That's the cost. So if it's a sponsor who's using a CRO, that's a part of the CRO fees. It could be the vendor fees. It could be the staffing. So on the sponsor side, it could be any staff or contractors that they're hiring to help have the study conducted, like medical writers, CSR writers. It just really depends on what the study entails. But for most studies, they do cost a pretty penny every month to maintain and to run. And I say that to say, you may have heard, if you're working at a site level, you may have heard that recruitment may be behind on your trial, and your study team is really pushing to see how many patients you can screen and enroll this month. How many patients can you screen and enroll during the enrollment period? And you may have frequent contact with your CRA about your enrollment efforts, patients that you have planned for screening, etc. And the reason being is there is a study timeline, an overarching timeline that is usually set at the beginning of the study during study planning, where they say, we're going to activate the trial. And once we get the sites activated, we anticipate it's going to take us 7 months to recruit for this particular study. And in that 7 months, the sponsor has already factored, let's just say, 500,000 per month to run the study. We're going to go ahead for 7 months, 500,000. We're already allocating this $3.5 million to the side to get all of the patients enrolled and all the patients recruited for the study. And then once the patients are recruited, then we have to allocate additional monies to get them through the study. And so when recruitment is delayed and enrollment is slow, that increases the study timelines, but more importantly, it also overburns the budget. So if we had allocated $3.5 million during the enrollment period of 7 months, because we're spending 500,000 per month, if enrollment goes an additional 3 months, that's an additional $1.5 million, as an example, that the sponsor would have to dish out to continue the study. So that is why you may receive pressure from the study team to recruit, because there's things that are going on in the background that you may or may not be aware of, and it relates to study timelines and study budgets. But what does that mean to you, especially if you're on the site level? That means you want to take a holistic view and really anticipate how many patients you'll be able to contribute to the study. That is something that the feasibility collects. How many patients do you think that you'll be able to realistically enroll given the criteria? And sometimes you have the protocol that you can review while doing the feasibility questionnaire, and other times you don't have it. And so you have to make assumptions based off of the information provided. But once you give those predictions, the study team uses that to factor into those 7 months that they anticipate it will take to enroll all the patients needed on the study. So where do you come in as a site? How can you help the study overall stay on target with the timelines and stay within budget? So, number one, as I mentioned, is being realistic and just giving a fair assessment of how many patients you can recruit for the study. So, that's one. And then the other is when you are activated at your site, doing everything you can to bring in patients for the study. And I know that you guys go above and beyond, and we have a lot of followers that are new to the clinical research space. They may be new clinical research coordinators, they may be new sites. And so when they hear recruitment, they may not understand the full scope, some of the things that those that have already been in the industry for many years are doing and contributing to the study. So we have a free download. It's called 10 Tips for Recruitment and Retention. And in that free download, there are suggestions for both the clinical trial manager who may be planning a study. As a side note, if a study is falling behind with recruitment, as a clinical trial manager, you will have to work with the sponsor to help implement additional strategies to help with recruitment to the study. So, in our free guide, the 10 tips for recruitment and retention, it does have steps that the CTM can take, as well as the CRA can take, as well as the site can take. So, if you're a site, for instance, you may want to look at the patient's schedule for that particular day and see if there's any patients that may be diabetic. And if so, you may want to flag their chart, their medical chart, with a neon color paper. Let's just say a neon color paper. And you want to make sure that everyone in the practice is experienced with that neon color paper, that when they see it on a patient's chart, they know that that's a potential study patient. So as a study coordinator, you can look at the day's schedule or the week's schedule. You can pull that patient's medical chart, do some preliminary review, see if they meet the initial inclusion exclusion criteria based off what you can see. And then you can flag that chart with the neon color page that your investigator or sub-investigator can know that when they're seeing that patient for their routine visit, they can also talk to them about potentially being a study participant. So that's a strategy that sites could use. So that's one strategy. If you are looking to recruit, you can also make sure that you get copies of IRB approved posters or flyers, and you might want to put those in a community area, maybe the hallways walking to the clinic. You could also have those maybe in a local pharmacy that may be a part of your medical building. And so those flyers that are IRB approved can be seen by potential patients. Other things that could be done could also be going to advocacy groups that support particular diseases and passing out flyers or asking to leave a brochure, or maybe even join the discussion during an open session where you can talk a little bit more about the option to be in a clinical research trial for those with a specific disease. So those are some recruitment strategies from the site level. But in that 10 tips, you will have recruitment strategies for CRC, CRA, and CTM. As well as, we can't forget about retention. Once the patients are enrolled, it is important that as many as possible stay in the study so we can continue to collect the data. So there's also retention strategies in there as well. So hopefully that was good information for you if you're new to clinical research, or if your site is looking for additional subject recruitment methods. You found this video helpful, as well as learning a little bit of background about how much studies cost, timelines, and how and why study teams may push to get the recruitment going as quickly as possible and wrapped up as quickly as possible on a study to make sure they stay within timelines and on budget as much as possible for a clinical study. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you back for the next video. Bye.